That is a hell of an accent, I have to say. Kevin Kilbane joins us on the line from Moscow. Good evening to you, good sir. How are you keeping?
Good evening, Richie. Everything's good. Yeah, I've missed you, Rich. I've not seen or heard from you in a while, honestly.
You don't write, you don't call. I'm expecting a decent box of chocolates by the time you come home from a massive-sized Toblerone. A Kremlin-sized
Toblerone. I'll bring you a Russian doll. That's what I'll do for you. One for the studio, especially for you. A World Cup Russian doll.
I think you've been warned about that, Kev, before you headed out there. So it's probably best to keep that in the QT. I'm a married man. Kev, this England game, I've only been watching it in the corner of my eye, obviously enough, because I've been busy for the past half an hour with Kieran and Neil here in the studio. We'll start with the lack of James Rodriguez for Colombia. A massive fill-up for England. You would imagine they were buzzing when they found out the team news from Colombia this evening.
Yeah, it was always a doubt, wasn't it? Of course, he missed that first game against Japan, so I think that was the big news coming into the match. I think with him being so doubtful and not necessarily been fully fit, and then you wait for the realisation when he goes in. I'm with you. I think it's massive for England. England actually started with a great tempo, and I think that sort of news is the sort of news when you get it when a player's not out. When a player's not playing. That I don't know. You can grow from it. There's real pace in this game from both sides, but you're taking Rodriguez out, who's a little bit of guile. I know they've got Quintero, who's been excellent, but you're taking a little bit of guile in the central areas out of the side, and I think that's a massive blow for Colombia. Yeah.
We're actually having Kev, we're actually having a bit of a problem with your line there. It is very, very humid in Moscow, which I believe is playing havoc with the Wi-Fi in Kev's luxurious hotels. We see Lothar Matthäus watching on from the stands. One of the FIFA legends assigned to this match in the Spartak Stadium in Moscow, where it's still, with less than 9 minutes to go to half-time, Colombia 0, England 0. Sitting alongside Lothar Matthäus is the equally legendary Wes Brown of Manchester United and formerly of England. So, it's still England 0, Colombia 0. We'll hopefully get our connection back to Kev in short order. We'll also have, after 9 o'clock as well tonight, Keith Andrews is going to be joining us on the line for live reaction to this game. And we'll bring in the closing stages as well with the man of many voices. Rishtard Cooper is going to be in studio with us for Rishtard's Russia. That's coming up after 8:30. And also on top of that as well, we'll be hearing from Padraig Harrington out of the Dubai Duty Free Irish Open, which gets underway in Ballyliffin this coming Thursday. The tee times you just heard from Neil, and you can check out on offtheball.com. While we're waiting to re-establish Kev, let's take a look back for Ray and Galway and for all those others who've been giving us signs that it's coming home. A bit of 1966 and all that.
Off the ball.
World Cup Willie quickly became the symbol of British football followers' hopes that England could give the cup a new home. As the matches drew nearer, the excitement mounted, expressing itself in scores of different ways.
7 more minutes, and Korea score through Pak Du-wik, to the joy of Pak Sung-yin and the Middlesbrough crowd. The greatest shock in World Cup history.
Eusebio. Oh my word! Have you ever seen anything like that?
We have still to produce our best, and this best is not possible until we meet the right type of opposition. And that is a team that comes out to play football and not act as animals.
First goes forward, he might make it 3. He has! He has! And that's it!
The lesser heard Hugh John's commentary of Jeff Hurst's goal, that crucial goal that sealed the World Cup for England in 1966. They currently have a free kick on the edge of the Colombian box. Harry Kane in the past few moments felled by Lerma, Jefferson Lerma on the edge of that Colombian box. Kieran Trippier standing over. Ashley Young is 2. As you said, Kev, they've been boosted by the lack of James Rodriguez. They'll also be equally boosted by the way they've started this match. They've been really, really bright.
Great tempo, Rich, the game, honestly. England started the first game against Tunisia in the same sort of vein, so anyone who's maybe not watching, it's a similar sort of start, real tempo, first 20 minutes of the game, right in the Colombian faces, stopping them playing, excellent in the counter-attack, Trippier getting forward, he put actually a decent cross in the game, and Harry Kane had half a chance, really. Little headbutt actually there on Jordan Henderson. We're just seeing maybe on my screen ahead of me as well, but there was a real tempo, Rich, a real tempo to England's play, and it's exactly what England would have wanted. It's exactly the style of player that Gareth Southgate picked for this squad in particular, because it's a squad with high energy, maybe lacking in technical ability in certain areas, but it's high energy football, and that is what he feels as though will get the best out of the team in this World Cup and beat the opposition. And that's exactly how they're playing, real high energy football, and it's actually good to watch.
Very basic question here. There's people texting in saying that the Colombians will favour the heat. I think England are going to get a penalty here. The referee has had a little word in his ear from VAR. Wilmar Barrios is the man who threw the head into Jordan Henderson and an elbow as well. The referee's brandished a yellow card. We're just waiting to see what the actual outcome is this in terms of fouls. Radamel Falcao is getting a speaking to now. Wilmar Barrios, if he stays on the pitch, he's just gotten a yellow. He's going to be a very, very lucky man. He'll miss the next match if Colombia go through. Of course they won't, because football is indeed coming home, Kev, as we know from this game tonight. But England had that free kick in the edge of the box. I don't have the sound on, so I'm oblivious to the fact of whether or not it's a penalty. I think we might be waiting on the final decision.
No, he's given a free kick, Rich. He's just staying with the free kick as normal. Yeah, it's a foul in the box, you say. Now the play is dead, isn't it? So whether or not he feels as though he's just got to continue as it is, he's booked the player, as you say, he's booked him, he's suspended. So that's all he's done. That's the only punishment he is. But you're right. It's been coming home since the first win against Tunisia, hasn't it? So there you go.
A lot of people kind of scoff at it. I'm genuinely. I think England. And England.
Are you
won.
Excited? Are you excited about it, Rich?
No, I am, and I'll tell you for why.
I'm delighted for you.
I think
you and Joe. Any chance or what? Honest to God, you're scraping from the same barrel there.
No, that's harsh now, Kevin. Come on. I think an England run is a good story, and I think this World Cup, I know it's had, your Swedens and Russia's getting to. Trippier takes the free kick and it's just wide of David Ospina's right hand upright. That was close.
So unlucky.
I think an England run is a good story. I think the fact that it's a likeable England team, getting far, and like the 1990 England team was a likeable England team. The likes of Barnes and Mark Rice and Stuart Pearce, etc. Like that was Gascoigne, Waddle. Come on,
yeah, Waddle. If you've got Waddle in your team, you're all right. That's the thing. Now you're hitting me with a name that I can actually relate to a little bit. No, do you know what, Rich? I think it's reminiscent of now the age that we're in. You get one win and all of a sudden it's like, oh, come on, we've got to get behind it. I understand it getting behind it, but it's a massive drive that England are actually going to win the World Cup. This is the test. This is the one tonight, because I think if England get through this one tonight, then they've got a serious chance of being swayed. Let's be fair about that when you take that all day long. And then you've got Russia, Croatia. Croatia probably favourites in that one. I fancy Croatia to win it. They certainly can't play as bad as they played against Denmark the other night. So they've got a massive chance. But this is the one that the players that they've got within this Colombian side, they could hurt them. They could hurt them badly at times. I don't know. I'm maybe not with you on that one, Rich. I don't buy into all that coming home. I'm not
asking you to come with me, Kev. I'm happy enough with your opinion as it is, and I'm just stating mine as an equal, and that's fine. We don't have to get along all the time, Kev.
No, I know. I tell you. Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Go on. Ask the next question.
There's more you probably could say there, but you're probably steering away from it. That's fine. That's fine by me. I don't mind.
Yeah, you lost me at the Russian doll, so yeah, there you go.
You made your own bed there, Kev. Anyway, listen, England will have a job in their hands if they do get by this Colombian side, because Sweden look a very well drilled, very hard working outfit, accounting for Switzerland earlier today by 1-0. I think all Sweden games look like they might only be 1-0, and that's fair enough by them. They're through to their first quarter final since 1994. For them, I'd imagine the place is absolutely hopping in Sweden tonight. They're going to be a tough side for anybody to break down. I don't care if it's England, if it's Colombia or anybody.
Yeah, I think that was a reason as well, Rich, why he's not brought Zlatan Ibrahimovic into the side. I think he feels as though the coach has got a settled team. I think he feels as though that he's got a bit of unity within that squad. And why bring Zlatan Ibrahimovic into it to maybe mess with the squad itself in many respects? I think it's actually proven to be like a masterclass, isn't it? or a brilliant decision. It's something that you look at now and you think you can totally understand his reasoning for doing that. I mean, that Mexico result aside, which, obviously you beat Mexico 3-0, the way how impressive they were. I thought they were excellent against Germany, particularly for about maybe 50, 60 minutes in that match. Really good stuff in the first half of that Germany game. Look at them in the first game against South Korea as well. They've got good players. Difficult to break down, but they've got a little bit of class going forward. Forsberg is obviously the main player for them, and you look at him and it's key to get him onto the ball. But I think in general, Rich, I think that it's a tough nut to crack. Tough nut to crack, should I say? If you come up against them, but in general, you only need to look at Russia beating beating Spain. You need to look at South Korea beating Germany. It isn't a given. And I know those bloody words that are always said, no easy games and all that sort of carry on. When you get into these sort of stages and when it's win or bust, it's nervousness. No matter what player it is, no matter how much experience you've got, it's nervousness that takes over. These are huge games. The family, of course, are over there, obviously in the ears of the players. It's so difficult to switch off from everything and just become fully focused on your own game. That's what makes it so much more intriguing. And you only need to look at Japan last night against Belgium. So unlucky the way that they played. That you can get these results, these what many would consider freak results. I don't necessarily believe in that. A little bit of belief from Japan last night, and they probably could have got through that game.
Hey, listen, I want to ask you a question here, Kev. What thing do you find easier to stomach? The prospect of England going deep into this tournament, even deeper than they have done already, or Roberto Martinez, World Cup winning manager?
Oh God! Do you know what? I think I'd probably prefer England to win it. That's how bad it is. I'll tell you. It's I don't know. I mean, no, that's a bit harsh, I suppose, as well. But I tell you, do you know what, Rich?
Why?
I think
tell us why.
No, I think in general, what it would be. No, I don't.
We appear to have lost Kev. Probably the opportune moment.
Kid, so.
Oh, sorry, he's back. Sorry, genuinely, Kev.
I just put the phone down here then, Rich.
Was it? I was like, he's probably saved himself and ourselves massive libel costs there by saying something.
I don't need to elaborate on anything, Rich. I don't need to elaborate on anything.
Fair enough. No, in terms of Martinez on the Belgium, like they got him out of jail last night because that team were set up very, very, very lackadaisically. They looked like a team, not necessarily without a plan, but there was an arrogance about them last night for the majority of that game. And they were lucky to come through it.
Oh, they were poor, weren't they? I thought in the first half, very little. And sometimes it takes that, even for the very best of players and the best of sides, that it takes a couple of goals that Japan scored to maybe shake them up a bit. But I didn't see any life in them at all. I didn't see how they were going to open up Japan. Japan looked solid. They were playing decent football, Japan, but Japan kept on opening them up without necessarily being, really direct and really sending runners off the ball. It was quite basic football that was opening Belgium up. That's a worry for them, I would say that. Is there real unity in that squad? That's the one big thing that you're always asking of a Belgian team. They have the talent. They've got as good a team as anyone in the tournament. But is there that real unity there? That's Roberto Martinez has come in to try to get them together tactically.
He seems to be finding the Kev very difficult to kind of get the best out of having Hazard and De Bruyne in the same side. Like on paper, like the Belgium are the most on paper side you can ever think of, because on paper, yes, they've got a side that could get to the World Cup final with ease. You would think it doesn't seem to be making things mesh all that well, especially with De Bruyne and Hazard.
Yeah, you're saying Martinez. Yeah, I'd be with you on it. It's they beat England. Yeah, both sides made a lot of changes. I'm not going to judge anything from them beating England in that game. Beating, you beat Panama and you beat Tunisia. They created a lot of chances against Tunisia. That suggests that they are in form, I suppose, going forward. But last night, it didn't show a lot to me. They didn't look to me like they had enough probably to go all the way. But I would have thought of Brazil early on in this tournament. I would have thought of France early on in this tournament. France in particular. We're looking in that game against Argentina. You think they're coming good at the right time. Brazil haven't been great early on, but they just got better and better and better. So Brazil, in my mind, look the side to beat. But we will see.
Yeah, I was just finally going to touch on Brazil with you, Kev, because they just have that thing about them that sides who win tournaments, whether it's a World Cup or a Champions League or a league title or whatever, they are able to nick a goal. And they're very solid at the back. And if you have those two things, by God, you've got a chance of anything.
Yeah, and you never would have thought of that of Brazil, would you? You never would have thought of Brazil of being that team that's...
Do you know what? The 94 side, I think the point you're going to make is they were not really defensively that sound. The 94 side, I know, was slightly stronger at the back and anchored by Dungan midfield. They definitely had that solidity about them, and I think even 2002 had echoes of that to a degree, although they were a slightly more free-flowing side. But definitely that solidity that they have at the back and even through midfield with Casemiro and Paulinho has definitely been to their benefit. I think we've lost Kev. The line has gone from Moscow. It hasn't stood the test of time as they enter into 4.5 minutes of added time at the Spartak Stadium in Moscow. Still, Colombia 0, England 0. Jesse Lingard with the latest chance for England, flashing the ball just over the bar. The ball was rising though, and he couldn't get himself over it necessarily to really trouble David Ospina in the Colombian goal. One final punt forward from Jordan Pickford. Harry Kane looking to get something on it. He hasn't, and the referee has blown for half-time. 0-0 it is there. We'll speak to Keith Andrews in the immediate aftermath of this game just after 9 o'clock on the football show. We'll also be talking to Julien Laurens about the prospects of France and what might they come up against with Uruguay in Nizhny Novgorod come Friday. On top of that as well, tonight we'll be talking LeBron switch to the Lakers, and up next we're hearing from Padraig Harrington at Ballyfin even, for the Dubai Duty Free Irish Open.
Off the ball on News Talk.
Beach Yard in Dunleary Harbour, August 3rd, 4th and 5th, featuring San Germain, Kamasi Washington, Little Dragon, Django Django, The Jacksons, and electric music legends Orbital with a full live AV show.